And we are live. If it's not StreamYard, it's the good old internet connections. What is going on, everyone? It is Friday. We're going to have an awesome show tonight. We're going to talk about a few things that I got in the mail. And I mean, shoot, there's a lot going on in the community and car audio. And there's always questions to be asked. And I'm going to be here to try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. So if you got any questions, drop them below. You know the deal. Sit tight, grab your favorite beverage, and let's kick off the intro. I'll see you guys in a second. Zumba for the win! What's going on, Bubba? What is going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. We got Double E. We got a full house tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is Friday. I just got back from having an epic show with Scott and Casey talking about our old setups and everything else, man. And, of course, Mullen was there. What is going on, Mullen? Thank you for tuning in. Dennis the Menace. What is going on? Thank you as well for tuning in, guys. Appreciate that you're here. Cornut was watching. Hey, appreciate you, man, so much. Thank you, guys. It was an awesome show in the Rolling Thunder. I really liked that topic of just going over our old builds. And, you know, it's just been a crazy week with just everything. Sorry I was a little late here now. I just had some bad internet, and I'm like, I'm going to wait a second. Yes, I am live, Cornut. Yes. What's going on, Adir? Thank you for tuning in. We got Frank. What is going on, Frank? I'm regulated to the laptop. My kid got my phone. Hey, it's all good, man. You know, hey, as long as you're here, able to comment, at least say that you're here. Hey, that's all that matters, man. Thank you so much for tuning in, being part of the Discords, the community, my streams, everything, man. You guys are awesome. Vite Dev, what is going on? Checking in, Andy. Hope you had a good... Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. I see new people jump in on here, and, you know, I get it. We all have lives and stuff. You can't always be here, but this is here. So if you got nothing else better to do on a Friday night, talk about car audio, your hobby, your passion, that's what we do here. It's going to be an awesome show like every show. Yes, bigger screens for the win. Scott's former... This was pretty crazy on the Rollin' Thunder podcast. Finding out how much Scott loved Scar. And, you know, I didn't realize that until now. And I guess that might be something you might not just tell someone on the first date, you know? It's like, hey, by the way, you know? Just kidding. But he ran a lot of Scars, the Evils. I don't even know if what the 10s were, but he had 4 10s. He had an 18, 2 different 18s. And, you know, we all struggle. We all try different things. And that's the point of, you know, every product. You know, they're out there for that person that may not want to spend a ton of money. Do they get the same amount of performance or maybe quality or whatever they're trying to get for the same dollar? Maybe not, but it might be cheaper and it might work for them better. So everything does work within reason, man. But hey, it was pretty funny. Thanks for tuning in, Blake. Appreciate that you're here too. I guess the stream can start since Deviant is here. You know how that goes. Thanks for tuning in, Deviant. What's going on, Paul? Thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate that you're here tonight. We might have a short show. I had a really hard job last night. Store was so bad, like the grease was like food still. Like it wasn't even grease. And I had a hard time sleeping last night. I had to sleep on my stomach to kind of support my arm out just because I couldn't sleep. It was just like a pulsating pain in my shoulder. That store was so bad. I had a hard time sleeping because of it and just a little tired, but I feel okay. It's just, man, I just feel whooped. Always feel whooped and got a lot of stuff to do afterwards tonight. I got some stuff to do with the amp dyno, a few things that I could start to do, put together since I did get a few things already and I want to talk about those things. What's going on, Larry Keller? Thank you for tuning in. Well, first we'll talk about the littler stuff. I got these from Scott, Sky High Car Audio, top post terminals here. See if we can get a nice zoom in shot there. Now these are for lug style terminals, and this will go on to a, you know, aftermarket battery that's got like M4, M6, you know, regular screw downs like excess power, stuff like that. This will be for the Pilot. One set, I got 2 sets of them. They're nice because they do have input ones where you put the wire in, but then you need ferrules, and I have a lot that already have the input styles, and the Pilot's already all lugged up because I didn't have any of these, and I'm sticking like 20 wires on one pull piece. So I wanted to get it something nice and clean and just better connections. When you got a bunch of lugs on one bolt, sometimes when, you know, the bolt gets loose, they're all loose, and it's just bad. So you kind of want to get these, and these aren't bad either, man. You can get them from a lot of places, a lot of distributors. I would go with the name brand just so you know what kind of metal you're getting, and quality stuff, and it's only like $40 a pair. You can't really beat it, and they'll last forever until you lose them. And if you already saw my video earlier, I wasn't sure what kicker products I was getting because I got one big order and they split it up. Just, you know, it's a lot of stuff. And I didn't know what was coming, but I got the kicker stool, which was only one item out of like 10. So the other stuff is coming Monday. I'm like, oh man, I really wish they were the ST series speakers so I could show those off to you guys tonight, since this is just a hangout show, you know, something where we can go a little bit more in depth on things. Because Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about your favorite kicker car audio products ever. And I want to hear about what your favorite was. We'll throw it up. We'll talk about it. And I think it'll be a cool interactive show for a Tuesday Kicking with Andy show. A little bit more interactive, more like these shows, but more kicking it with Kicker. Deviant, hold that thing back up. You know, this thing is awesome. I love these, and they're, you know, kind of forgotten in car audio. They really are. You know, just of what they are, and people just try to put lugs on stuff. Come on. I don't have my product display on, because if it does, then it just goes bad. But, you know, these things are just great, and you have all these different ways of mounting it. It just makes it nice and clean, and just it's nice. But along with the JY Power, we're going to get to the battery. We're going to get to it. Along with the JY Power, they got these wire combs. Travis actually gave me a few at Slamology because he was just handing them out in a bucket because it's like a brand new product of his. These wire combs are awesome. Now, this is the cool part, where they're only like $3 or $4 for a pair, but what it does is it gives you the ability where they're like, you know, printed and everything. This is, I needed one for 4 gauge because my whole amp dyno is going to be pretty much 4 gauge because all the runs are short, power's not that high. And what this does is just gives you nice clean areas to mount your wire, and you can screw it or however you want to mount it to your setup. And I think it's just awesome to have that. And I got a couple pair for the speaker wires to run around and stuff like that. And my internet's already yelling at me saying I don't have much internet. So hopefully I'm not too in and out. I know that happens when the internet's low. And it just happens because everyone's streaming at my house, and maybe it's just good old Xfinity, you know, whatever internet's coming in. I'm just not getting good stuff, but hopefully it's coming clear to you guys. I hate when it comes in crappy, you know. Audio, video guy, I mean, this is what we do. So I do want to get to the battery. Looks really nice. Thank you, Ronco160. You know, it feels like Christmas just getting a delivery every day between Scott, Down for Sound, and then the Kicker one today. I did not expect the chair to come first because it said 2 packages, and I'm like, okay, cool, but I don't know what is what. And they were both going to come today, and then last minute at like 2 o'clock it said, oh yeah, your other package ain't coming until Monday. I'm like, come on, man. So I'm like, might be a slim chance some ST speakers are in here. The box is about the right size, but unfortunately it's not. But you know what? That Kicker stool is awesome. Again, like I was saying, Bubba got a lot of those for the guys, got him signed by Steve Irby and all the guys down at Kicker, and I thought that was awesome. And I've been wanting the stool, but I kind of needed a reason to buy one. I don't just buy things to buy things most time. So I was like, well, I need a chair for my amp dyno seat and something that can go up and down. And I like this chair for this because I got a little bit of back support if I'm being lazy on a stream, and I got my 1-arm support for my mouse. I actually don't even have one on the left side so I can get in and out better. It's really tight right here. Once I clean up this area, I do want to get a lot more film area where I can shoot cameras and stuff connected to the computer from the camera, going to here, shooting at the dyno, and to the casting couch. The couch onto the side there, and just, you know, for things down the road. It's going to be awesome. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Todd, what is up? Yes, I'm spending your guys' money. You know, that's the point. That is the point why you guys donate to me, and 90% of it goes to car audio and 10% goes to my family and things that I need. So you guys, exactly. But you know what? That's what is the miracle and the blessing about doing this kind of show. And I get to buy things like this and to show you guys and have fun at the same time. It's amazing, and I appreciate you guys. I really do. Dennis the Menace, I need some battery distribution blocks. Well, there you go, man. I mean, they got them. Well, I guess you could say Sky High Car Audio, Down for Sound. I would go to a reputable distributor for them. I know Kicker has them, but a lot of times they're not in stock with that type of product. You can go on Crutchfield and stuff like that to get theirs, and they have some very nice distribution blocks. I have a few of them in the quad box, Quadzilla if you want to call it that, Kicker build. And man, they're nice because they are, you know, you throw them in and then they're encased, and it just looks very clean. They might be a little bit more expensive compared to this, and this might be a little bit more simpler, but it all depends your setup and stuff like that. And a lot of their distribution blocks, I think, are more OEM, I guess you could call it that. I'll have to look. I know there's distribution blocks, top post terminals. There's all different kind of names and different types, so it depends what you're trying to get. But right, man, you know, you can't go wrong with these things, and they last forever. You can pony up and get the copper ones, and I mean, you can get better connection and stuff like that, but honestly, the aluminum blocks do more than enough for especially what we do. Bad connection. Yeah, StreamYard lets me know when it's a bad connection, but there's nothing I can really do, unfortunately. It's just the internet in my house, and I got a 50-foot Ethernet cord running up from downstairs straight up to this computer, so I don't know if there's much more I could do, but hey, we'll see. Got Dub Team up in the house. Casting couch for the win, yes. I mean, it looks like one. You gotta call it that, I guess. Let's see here. Ronco 160, the Amp Lab had one of those JY batteries at the last comp in Maine I went to. Pretty sweet. So they had the NXT. That is awesome, man. It's newer technology. I would love to talk about it, really, honestly, because I was doing a little bit of research and while Netflixing with Kayla before the shows tonight. And I wanted to look more into it. I sent Travis some messages, but he's a busy guy just like myself, and you can't always get answers right away. So I took the liberty, did some research on my own, and I looked into this, and with it being a hybrid capacitor, where it's the EDLC, where it's like the electronic double layered, not even capacitor, EDLC capacitor, yeah. And it's not even that. It's not even the EDLC, because I feel like an EDLC is almost a regular capacitor, where this is a hybrid, where one of the ant nodes and cat nodes, one side of the battery and the other, one works with static electricity and the other side is chemical, and then there's lithium inside between, just like how a battery works, like an AGM or a lithium, and just how that kind of stuff works, where it's just all chemistry compared to a capacitor, ultracapacitor, where they're all static electricity, and it's just different. It's different of how they work, and that's why this is a hybrid. It might not have as much potential power as a capacitor per se. We're not saying size for size, but we're just saying the types of batteries. It's not going to have as much discharge as a capacitor, but it's not going to have as much reserve as a lithium battery standalone itself. But because it's a hybrid, you get more of each, or you get more reserve than a supercapacitor, and you get more discharge than a lithium. So it's kind of, the middle of the road of just next type of battery fabrication, just because these are so small. Like, this is literally, obviously it's light, it's a lithium, but this thing it fits in the palm of my hand. Now, could you run this on your 3000 teraamp? I wouldn't suggest it. You're going to need more, and that's kind of the point with these batteries. When Travis was talking to me, when I was giving him the demo of Cookie Monster and having a good time, I was asking him about new batteries coming, and he was telling me about this NXT and just how, it's almost easier to have them separately in smaller cases rather than, one big battery, and just with heat and how they do batteries. I am no battery whiz, but I trust JY, and they make awesome stuff, and I feel like this is the next way to do it. Plus, you can mount them in all different ways. You could probably get bus bars that just line up with everything and have them in a line, or however which way you want to do it. Obviously, you can't wire it in series. Can't do that with any kind of lithium that's like this. With BMSs, you just can't do it. Now, can you run them in parallel? Absolutely. That's the point. And being at $299 and with a 60 amp discharge like it says, oh, come on now. You were working with me there. Good. Okay. It says 60 amps continuous, and as you can see, the operating voltage is what, 8 volts to 16.8? Which is a very wide range, and that's what's awesome, because that's kind of how capacitors work. They don't need to be at a certain voltage to be happy. Just the type of electricity it is. I don't know. It's not a battery, so you can't compare it with that. Now, that's one thing I did when I first hooked this up. I wanted to see what voltage it was sitting at, because I hooked up the UC31, the Ultra Cap that I got, which is awesome. And it's huge and only has 350 farads. This has 2,000. So I don't know exactly the difference on that and which one is better, but it's just, with this, you can run this with your stock electrical. You could run this with your front battery and maybe some 4-gauge wire and just this right between your amp on maybe 1,000 RMS amp. And you're never going to have a problem. This thing's going to keep your voltage right where it needs to be. And it's going to charge and discharge faster than a regular lithium and obviously an AGM or lead acid battery. But there's limitations on this one by itself, and that's where people kind of get veered off. Well, I need something that can take 300 amps, 400 amps. Well, you just got to buy a bunch of them, and then you're good to go. But then people might look at it as, oh, I'm only getting so much power, but you don't understand something that's more efficient and takes less power to get loud, or less... that takes less to charge, just delivers more power quicklier. You know the thing? So it all depends what you're trying to do. What's going on, Josh? Thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to go over this battery a little bit. If you guys got any questions on this thing, just let me know. 4 amp hours. That's the thing. It's like, it's tiny. It's literally the same size as my motorcycle lithium battery. But the motorcycle lithium battery only has a 6 amp input charge limit, meaning you can only charge it at 6 amps. You can't put it on a 100 amp power supply and make it discharge and continuously recharge at the same rate. This one can. And that's kind of the point of it. I need more on this so I can talk more about it. Test it with and without a pro alternator. Right. You know, Travis did a video with it with no alternator and a CX1800 kicker amp, and it took a while till it started to drop down to the 12s by itself on a CX1800. I could probably pull that video up. I think that would be cool to show you guys. New, modern, and yeah, I know. I remember you telling me about that, Adam. Thank you so much for tuning in. Whenever the time comes, I will definitely be coming to you, because I just don't know anything about that stuff of how to, you know. Todd, do you need an isolator for those caps you got? No, and that's the point of it. You don't need an isolator. Not that I know of. I know with a regular capacitor, like the ultra capacitor, no. With this, I'm pretty sure you don't need it. Just the type of battery it is, if you want to call it a battery. I don't think it's going to be pulling from anything. And yes, you can run it standalone, but this is meant to maybe go after your stock battery in the back of the trunk, and you're good to go, man. You're never going to see low voltage, and it's just going to make things a lot happier. Jeff, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in. Should I be happy with a 148.3 at 38 hertz out of my trunk today? Andy McGill, sir. Absolutely, dude. Trunk score with a 148.3. That's very impressive, dude. Probably 212s. I forget what you got. Probably clamping 3.5K. Man, a 148 is loud. And people, they go crazy over those numbers. I want to see a 150. I want to see a 55. And yeah, you're going to be louder, but a 148 is pretty loud, dude. I'd feel happy. Thank you for tuning in, man. I don't even use Wi-Fi 25. I use hard connection. Can't use Wi-Fi. Unreliable. Appreciate your thought there. Mr. Blake, it's a capacitor and a lithium battery in the same chassis. Yes. So it acts like a super cap and then can sustain a longer discharge. Absolutely. And you know, it's like literally perfect for my amp dyno that I have a 100 amp power supply. I test around 1,000 watts, if not less. You know, and it's just, it's perfect. I'm only doing quick discharges. I got the super chat function working. I just can't mess with my settings. Thank you, Matt. Matt G with a $20 super chat. What's up, my guy? Send some subscribers, subwoofers. Doesn't matter either way. I just love subs. I'm easy to please. You know, I do eventually want to start doing giveaways. I was talking to Kayla about that not that long ago, honestly. I think that's something we could do, definitely in the near future. With the whole Kicking It with Andy show already giving away a lot of stuff for you guys, I think that's, you know, that's a lot already, you know, and it just eventually, absolutely, man. You guys keep watching, keep supporting, man. A lot of things can happen, and it'll be awesome to be able to, you know, knowing that you are part of the portion of making this dream happen for me, for you guys, and for someone else that may be receiving that product, and it might be yourself. Just to know that is some things that maybe some people just don't always think about all the time, and you kind of have to look at the little things. So it's a good idea, man, and I want to do it. I really do. I really, really do. I appreciate you guys so much, and I honestly want to give something away that you guys want, you know. I don't know if you guys are going to want some Walmart kickers. Would you like some Walmart kickers? Double E, come on, man. Quick discharge. Hey, it happens to the best of us, man. Maybe you just need more batteries. More reserve. That's all. RVH, what is up? Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate that you're here. See the Dubby sticker on the right corner of the screen? Yeah, check it out. Dub made this for me a long time ago, but I finally got it on there. It's been my TikTok background for a long time, if you haven't noticed. If you see me on TikTok, it's been there. But if you check it on the right corner, there we go, right there. Boom, Living Loud with Andy. He does awesome artwork. Dub team, man, appreciate you so much. And had to throw that on the merch store as a decal, a t-shirt, just so you guys can grab it. I make like $2 off a t-shirt and hoodie, man. So just get it if you want, man. Appreciate you guys so much. And thank you, Dub, for the artwork, and Bubba for shouting them out. All right. Yes. Rob Tremble, what is up, man? I have a Maxwell Ultra Cap. Nice. Nice. Ultra capacitors, super capacitors. There's a few different types of capacitors and how they work and the different, chemistries or whatever you want to call it of those. And, I want to learn more about it. I saw this guy's video that was talking about different hybrid capacitors, and this guy had 40 subscribers, and he knew way more information than I ever could know. And it would take me a month or two to deliberately learn a lot about this stuff to even think about knowing as much as he did. And the guy only had 40 subscribers. I'm like, man, this guy's a genius. I should just be like, hey, you want to come on tonight? But it was like a year ago, too, and it was just talking about that. And I was like, man, there's a lot of stuff out there, and you just got to look for it. And it's cool to hear about other products. Like you're talking about the Maxwell. I'm not too familiar with them. I know like the XS Super Caps, and, there's all different ones. And what works better for you, and what, it's just crazy, man. It really is. Tested, Andy, you'll be the first. Think very high views, bro. Make it rain. Thank you, 25. I will do a lot of testing for that. I will. How many for 20,000 support? Now, when Travis was talking about it for this guy here, it says 2,000 watt amp. Now, a 2,000 watt amp, now think about it like this. You're not going to be pulling 2,000 watts and 240 amps or whatever, say, efficiency in there continuously. You're going to be pulling like 100 to 80 amps out of that 2,000 watt amp. And that's where that is kind of rated at. It's 60 amps continuous, but obviously more or less of how rigorous you play it. I remember him saying on the video, which I need to bring up actually, of where it was 60 amps continuous, but it was a, you know what, am I logged in here? Yes, I can do this here. 120 amp cells. So does that mean you could put 120 amps to it? Sure. How long, what kind of BMS is in there? When's it going to shut off? Just so things don't happen bad. So with your 20,000 watt support, I would say 10 of these, $3,000. And yeah, I know it sounds like a lot of money. Like, oh, I can go get some headways or build my own bank and it's cheaper. And that may be the point of, maybe for you, it might be cheaper. But for the space and the type of charging, maybe you can get away with less. Maybe you could get away with 7 or 8. I would look at the continuous discharge of what these are rated at and go from there of like what you're really clamping, Josh. You're clamping what, 7, 10K right now? Maybe more? I forget which, because you're always competing in different classes. I get confused. But you're pulling some current. You're pulling what, 10,000 watts at 14 volts? I mean, if you're sitting there, you're pulling some current, man. So you might need a few of these. And that's where it just comes down to what will work and what type of batteries you have now. I feel like these are very underrated. I feel like you could definitely run more than 60 amps continuous, because the JY HP40s are, I think, 200 amps continuous, and I'm pulling way more than that, especially continuous, and my voltage is doing great. I think it's 200 and then 400 and then 800 discharge max peak at like half a second or something. I don't know. There's all different kind of ratings, and I know lithium is a little less forgiving if you over discharge it than an AGM. It's just how they're built. But how much is that compared to the lithium? The lithium can outdo it for its weight and size, and the AGM just can't. But the AGM is more forgiving. So I don't want to tell you to go grab 3 or 4 of these and say you're good, and then something bad happened. Not that it won't just have a thermal runaway just because the type of battery it is. It's just not going to do that. And lithium iron phosphate, same situation. Yes, it can, but it's less likely compared to lithium titanate, LTOs, and all different types of lithium, lithium iron, lithium ions, and you know, just the regular stuff that you see in your vape batteries and your RC cars. Maybe a little bit less dangerous compared to the other ones. So I'll look more into it. If you're really interested on these, man, I think they are the next generation. And shoot, man, they're awesome. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. Man, we got another super chat from Matt. Appreciate you, Matt. Damn, appreciate you. I have the UC31. I love mine, man. Thank you again, Scott, for giving that to me, man. I thought that was awesome. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to use it, and it was perfect for the quad box. Charging at 14.8 volts. Works great. I might have to drop it down to 14.4. I heard your system will be the loudest at that magical 14.4. I thought you were serious there for a second. That's good. Absolutely, man. You know, I really saw a awesome advantage with that UC31 when I had a lithium in pair with it. Now I don't even drop it out of its capacitance, like how it has the app and everything, which is another product I need to go over, the UC31. But it's like, is it that important? I got a lot of things going on. Kicker video, you guys are going to love it. It's going to be like an hour long, I'm telling you guys. It'll be interesting, though. It'll be interesting. But I love that UC31, man, and I want to hear what kind of battery you have in line with that, buddy. Troop, he is back again. Thank you for tuning in, Andy, the man. Appreciate that you're here tonight. Matt paid my entry fee. Thanks, dude. Hey, someone's got to do it, RVH. It's all right, man. It's all right. Not going to call you a slacker. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Miss you. Bubba with a $20 super chat. Some love from your fans. Come on, peeps. Hit the like to show your support for Andy. Also, consider becoming a Patreon to bring continued content like this. Man, you know, you guys are crazy. Like, literally, if every other influencer that are huge would be pushing them like you guys are, they'd be 10 times bigger. And it's like, you just don't see it. And I'm so appreciative to have you guys. And absolutely, check out the Patreon, Living Loud with Andy. Actually, just Living Loud. Patreon.com. Check it out, man. I try to drop stuff on there, and it's just, you know, you're contributing and supporting what I do. And, man, you get to see cool products like this. Like, I'm one of the very first people that bought one of these. And same thing with the ST series. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have just had all that money to buy all this stuff. And, man, it's going to be exciting. You guys are going to be able to see it first. And I thank you so I can hear it first. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Really, really do. Let me scroll down here. I know I screwed up a lot there. James McCrae, what is going on, dude? How you doing? I haven't seen you since Rockin' with Russ. Hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, buddy. Glad you tuned in, if you're still here. Cheap blankety blank blank blank. Exactly, Bubba. Exactly. Okay, let me scroll down here. Kicker. Walmart kickers are rebadged boss. Yes. Moving on? No, I'm just kidding. Can't say that. Maybe someone might take that for granted. Oh, gotta throw this one up. William, what's going on, man? Hey, 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 Living Loud with Andy, late Friday night. You're a rock star. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your weekly public service announcement as well, too, man. I appreciate you guys. And I'm really trying for this amp dyno. Everything's falling into place, and it's getting there. And I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I can't wait to use all this cool stuff. I just got to do you guys right, everybody. Everybody. Let me scroll down. Matt G says, I have some excess power supercap cells. I'll send whoever sends me a pic of their... Oh my God. Come on now. Don't make me start reading these comments ahead of time. I appreciate you though, Matt, but... That's one way to get some free car audio products. I've seen worse. I've seen worse. Gotta. Alright, so, 25. Andy, but you have a nice alternator. No wonder the battery performs well. The Pilot is a stock alternator with that Ultra Cap and that JYHP40, and there's an AGM up front, but it's from Advanced Auto Parts, so it's nothing fancy, but it's an AGM. So my voltage is staying right around 13.4 full tilt long as I'm not clipping, and everything's great, meaning that the alternator is supplying all the power, and what's happening is the battery's being replenished as soon as it's being depleted, and that's why you're staying around resting voltage. And that's meaning that you're staying where the battery can maintain voltage with the amount of input current that is receiving, and that's when things are good. Once you start dipping down and you're starting to pull from that battery reserve, you're just on a timer of how long you can do that before the battery's completely depleted. And as you go along, you will notice, even with that alternator running and you're dropping below the resting voltage of that battery, slowly that voltage will drop even more and more and more at the same volume. But then there's another thing where it's hard to explain to someone, because they're like, oh, well, my voltage is fine now and I'm playing, it's okay. Well, next thing you know, your subs are getting hot, so then you're putting out less power, there's more box rise, and then everything starts to equal out. It's the meaning of life where everything equals out, just like the food chain. And it's crazy where, yes, that's going a little bit, pulling some teeth getting into it, but to try to explain how much power it takes for the average setup, once you start dropping below the resting voltage of your battery, you're pulling too much current, you need to upgrade something. And it all depends what you're trying to do, and of your next step to make your electrical better. And I know Blake was bringing that up in the Discord, like there's not enough videos and stuff, and I'm like, I kind of went over it, but I would like to do another video on that. But with doing these live streams, I feel like I cover a lot, but it's hard to get this information out to people because it's not in a 5-minute chewable video, it's an hour-long stream. So it kind of sucks, but at least it gives me ideas to do other things, and I try to do what I can, man. Blake, appreciate you again, man. I'm definitely going to go with the headway cells when I upgrade my electrical, but that's because I want at least 30 amp hours to on tap to run my car. Right, that's the thing. But this is 4 amp hours LIEQ and then 8 amp hours PBEQ, and it's just two different ratings, CEA or Rockville. I look at the 4 amp hours as CEA and the Rockville's the 8 amp hours because I know that from the motorcycle videos that I've been watching with different amp hours and lithium batteries and AGM batteries and pros and cons of each for motorcycles, because I was looking into it. You always want to do research before you buy something. And yes, there's two different ratings, but I feel like the 4 amp hours, that is going to be, you're going to want to look at the lowest rating and then expect that or less so that you're not upset about your product. So you want capacity just in case you leave your lights on for more than 10 minutes, your battery's not dead. Yes, this can discharge a ton of power, but can it hold a lot of reserve? No, and that's the same thing as a lithium compared to an AGM. But that's where it depends what you're trying to do. So yes, 4 amp hours is not much. I wouldn't recommend this as a starting battery anyway. But right, you want at least, I would say more than that. You want at least 60 amp hours just to be on the safe side if you're running the lithium by itself. Yes, you can do 30 amps. You're going to have plenty enough to turn that car over, even with the lithium in the rear and everything running to the front to the back with your wires. Your connections are good. You're going to have enough to start that battery. But man, I just feel like it's kind of pushing it. It really kind of is, just because you do have parasitic draw. If you drive your car every day, variables, you probably will be fine. You won't have any issues. But, there's just parasitic draw, and there's just, not state of charge, but, the self-discharge rates. And I know lithium is way better than AGM and lead acid and stuff. And it all depends with weather. There's a lot of variables with batteries. That's why I try not to get too into it, because it can be a rabbit hole. Jamal, again, thank you for tuning in, man. How many for 5K? If this says this is good for 2,000 watts, and we'll say it's an average 2,000 watt amplifier, we're going to say 100 amps of current, maybe less, maybe more, 60 amps continuous like it's rated. I would say, I would go with 3, just to be on the safe side, so you're at the 6,000 watts. If you're running the 5K, it might be a Brazilian amp. Full bridge sounds like one, and it might be a little bit more efficient, so maybe you could get away with less. And efficiency of the amplifier is key of how much do I need electrical for the amount of power amplifier that I'm running. If you're running a full bridge design and you're clamping for 5K, and you're not going to be wired down, so you're going to see 2,000 to 4,000 watts. Now, if you wire down, that's a different story, because then you're able to tap more power out of the amplifier. And when you wire down, you're really stressing that amplifier. If you're, really wired down and you're at its load of whatever it can do, and you're just going to stress it because it's not meant to do that. It really is not. And that's why you see a lot of, full bridge cheap amplifiers go poof when people try wiring them down. It's just, they're not built for that, one, and two, the circuitry is not the best. So if you're running a full bridge, I'm going to say you're going to need almost half as much electrical as you would as a half bridge. And there's a lot into it with the type of designs. A half bridge amp doesn't mean it's terribly inefficient. It's all comes down to the parts and the quality of the product that you're buying. Think about how many dollars am I spending for an amp? And if I spend a little bit more for the amp, you're probably going to have to spend less for the electrical. It's 9 chance out of 10 going to be a little bit more of an efficient amplifier. So that and quality. Tear amps, that's the elephant in the room here. You get efficiency for cheap. And that's where you might give up some quality and longevity. So it really does all depend. But for a Tear amp, maybe 5K, I would say you could probably get away with 2 of these just because they are pretty efficient. You run it right, you'll be fine. But if you're gonna, I'm solid on the 3. I would say solid on the 3, and that's $900. That's the same price as the JYHP40. And I feel like, yes, the amp hours is, 12 amp hours compared to 40? But the discharge and recharge values, you're going to get better electrical, quicker and faster, and when you need it, with this type of battery and this type of setup. And it's not a bad thing to run a lithium in concurrent with what you already have. But with this, I do know that you have to have, like say you would have your lithium, your headways of 30 amp hours. Now, don't quote me on this, but this is what I'm picking up. If you would have this in front of your amplifier, you would need as many as you normally would by itself, kind of thing, just because you don't want to over discharge this. If you're just putting this in front, it's just taking all the load, this thing ain't gonna last, even though you got your headways and your yin-longs behind it. That's what I'm taking from it. Again, I'm just learning about this product, but I would say at least 3 of those for your 5K, man. And if you're running a cheap amplifier, maybe like a SCAR RP45, something that's just not as efficient and maybe pulling some current, and I would say probably more. You really got to look at the power in, the power out. Appreciate you tuning in, man. I try to answer your guys' questions as much as I can with what I know. It's just hard because I am not no pro at this. I am not. Okay, let me scroll down here. Another question from Jamal. How many would I need on a 9K 240 amp Alden JF? That's another thing too, is how much input power do you have coming from your alternator? If your alternator is doing a lot of the work, then you don't really need much of a battery. Yes, having a bigger reserve, a battery that's taking all the brunt, you'll want that so you're not putting a lot of strain on your alt. But at the end of the day, when your voltage starts dropping below your resting voltage, that's when you're dipping into your batteries. Any other time, that's the alt doing the work and the battery buffering everything out in between. Simply put, that's the best way I can explain it. So how many would you need on a 9K? I mean, 240 amp alternator is kind of, by itself is still kind of skimming the surface of electrical of what you need for a 9K. No matter the lithium, yes, you can have a lot of lithium with high density stuff and, C-Max, and you might not even need to turn your car on. Your voltage is good, but how long can it do that? So with this, I don't know. I'm gonna say at least probably 5 then, just because, you're going up double the power. 5 or 6, and then it's like, okay, 2,000 for electrical. You want to be safe than sorry, and at the end of the day, when I first got my JYHP 40s, I didn't buy 1, I bought 2. I bought 2 because, like Blake was saying, that he wanted to have more amp hours for his starting battery. Same. I was like, 40 amp hours is kind of low. I want 2, and I want all the power that I want. And we'll be good to go. And that's what I did. And then I took one out just to see what it would do by itself. And my voltage wasn't much better running 2 compared to 1, just because my alternator's doing all the work. And I got a 320 amp alt. It's probably doing 200, 250. And it's just, that's what my amp pulls, like 200-300 amps of current. Battery's, buffering, doing a little bit more, and that's when voltage starts dropping. So having that second one back there really wasn't benefiting me, so I just use it for an amp dyno, and then now it's in the pilot, and, well, I know amp dyno battery. Bought that. Again, you know, I try to answer these questions because those are majority of the questions that people have in car audio that are just getting into this stuff, and they just want to get answers kind of answered for them, if that makes sense. You know, simply put, what should I do? And, you know, I try to answer it the best way I can without trying to give you wasted information. We don't want that. What's going on, Justin? Thank you for tuning in, man. Sorry if the internet popped out there for a second. I noticed the little internet button came out, but nothing I can do. Again, Andy back at it again. Absolutely 2 days a week, man. You know it. Professional streamer here. I seen a girl on, we were watching The Mole on Netflix, and she's like, I'm a professional gamer. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say I'm a professional streamer. Just cuz. Oh, man. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. I was forgetting my other amps. Now, are you talking about mids and high amps? Because totally different. Just me. Thank you for tuning in, man. Sorry, just dying here. Do the NXT's 2KF, that's what this is, come with the holder? Now, when you say the holder, do you mean like the bus bar? Because this is literally what it comes with. It literally comes with 2 screws. Come on now. Come on, Mr. Camera. Off my face. There we go. Comes with just the 2 screws, and that's it. And you just screw them in. That's it. Now, if you want to build your own kind of battery bank, you could. Now, to strap them down, you know, I haven't really thought about that too much. You know, like my JYs are just kind of sitting there in the back, but my cars, I don't really need to strap things down. I'm not, you know, drifting sideways anymore. Reiterate on that. I'll try to get back to you, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Oh, you know what? Before I get, I was asking about the giveaway. Yes. Why is this? Okay, I'm using Internet Explorer. I want to pull up the video with Travis testing this thing, and we're gonna get that because that's not that long ago, and he doesn't post too much, so it's easy to find. Travis Young. It's crazy that Yin from Yinglong, or not Yinglong, but JY Jin, his father was very good friends with Steve Irby. And that's kind of how that whole thing kind of started, because they're friends and they knew Steve, and boom, a kicker cube was born. So it's just been a long relationship between them, at least with Jin. It's crazy. Small world, if you ask me. All right, there's the NXT. Yeah, they got an amp dyno going too with down for sound amps, and I was looking at the freaking Sparked Innovations relay. I was looking at that for my pilot, but you could use that for the amp dyno too. I just went a little bit cheaper, but it'll do the same thing. It'll be all right. All right, NXT and Combs. Okay, we're getting there. 1 second. I'm just trying to find Dan Current getting a demo. Oh, come on. Maybe I just type in NXT. Let me just try. I swear he just posted. I just looked this up not that long ago. NXT. Just look that up and look up posts. Might be a little bit easier. Okay. Here, let me just pull this up here for you guys so you can just see what I'm looking at. Then you can just look at it. Oh, come on, man. There you go. See that a little better. Okay, so let me scroll down here. One step closer. Okay, here, I don't think this is the video, but this is exactly the layout that he had with the NXT on the CX1800. It looks like a Digital Designs power supply. Aha, here she blows. Let me know if you guys can hear that. If not, he doesn't say much, but it's just battery alone, power supply, no power supply, and it's on a reactive load on two 15L7s on a CXA 1800.1. Still like 13 volts there, pulling 100 amps, 60 to 100 amps. I mean, it's music, that's the point here, but it's on a 2000 watt amp. Yeah, if you run it at half ohm, no, we're not watching some football. If you run it at half ohm, yeah, maybe I wouldn't say 2000 watt amp, maybe 1700 watt amp, just because, you know, it's that current. It's that current again. Thank you for your comment, Jeff. What size alternator? Let me exit this out because I can't see anything else that I'm doing. Okay, cool. What size alternator for 4K Class D amp? 1200 AC amp, 800 AC amp. Audio control? Is that what I'm guessing? Well, 4K Class D, I mean, usually Class D is a, well, it can be full bridge or half bridge. I asked the question if AB amps could be full bridge, but usually they're not. So, or half bridge, vice versa, one of the ways. Anyway, not an amp guy either. You know, I'm jack of all trades, master of none, but, you know, I have a few things I'm better at. Simplifying things is my thing. So, what size alternator for 4K amp, no matter what, man? I mean, Class D is definitely more efficient than AB, so that gives me a starting point on that. Now, I would say at least, man, you can get one alternator. That's the thing, you know, in reality, you should have two, you know, more input power than you ever need, just so that you're putting less stress on each alternator and you're good. But that's hard to do. That's hard to do, and not a lot of people do it, and they'd rather see 12s and 13s, and that's totally fine. That is totally fine. You don't need to see 14.4 volts all the time. But 1200 AC amp and 800 AC amp, I mean, if that's an audio control amp, I'm gonna say, you know, 1K and 800 watt. I mean, it really does matter. Doesn't matter, because your car can only get a certain size alternator other than putting in a Frankenstein alt. You know, so it really does all depend. If you have like a 300 amp alternator, you're not going to get that at the red light. You're going to get that at 3,000, 4,000 RPMs. And you might not be doing that when you're given a demo, or, you know, you might forget. And you're getting 150 to 200 amps, you know, and there's efficiency and just a lot of variables. So even if you have a 300 amp, you're getting 150, 200 amps, and you're not consistently replenishing that battery, and that's when your battery gets tired. But that's why you have a battery. It has reserve. It's meant to be depleted. In a way, it really is. Otherwise, what's the sense? Then it's just a UPS battery sitting on a shelf, never being discharged. And, I mean, that's kind of ideal. Batteries last a little bit longer that way. You only get so many cycles out of them. All right, let me scroll down here. I know I missed a lot of comments up here. Justin, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Appreciate you. Yeah, see, I have about 3,500 on mids and highs yet. Don't count the mids and highs. Just kind of look at it as, well, I got how many speakers, and I'm probably seeing if their RMS rating is like 100 watts a channel, if not more, you know, maybe 200. I don't know exactly. That's a lot on mids and highs, 3,500 watts. But you're not going to see that on music on a coaxial or a component or maybe a mid-bass driver. You might see more just because they're playing lower frequencies. It doesn't need to be as loud just because, just how speakers work, man. You got a 15 watt RMS head unit. You maybe see a couple watts, you know, and that's what people don't understand. Yeah, if you play 40 hertz through it, yeah, you'll see more. And I've done bench tests on head units, and it's just, yeah, but on music, you're not going to see that. and it's so dynamic, and the amount of, it's just like when you look at the amp dynos for dynamic burst. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't, but that's how much it's, it can pull, and that's how much it can put out of your dynamic headroom, and that's kind of what music literally is. It's dynamic, but it's higher frequencies, and it's just, there's a lot of variables. A lot of variables. I would not add that into your calculations. Take account for it, but don't add it to the calculations like, oh, I need another 400 amps of capacity to keep up with this because I have a 3500 watt amp for mids and highs. Unless you are, JP or just anybody that's got a huge system and just doors for days. Yeah, you might want to account for some things. It depends, but it's just not as much as you would think. And PRVs, man, yeah, that's some mids and highs screamo in your ears, just yelling at you. Man, my internet is bad tonight. I don't know if it's because they're streaming downstairs, Netflix, Disney Plus. Brayson's on one TV, Oakley's on the other, Kayla's watching football and with Roethlisberger in the kitchen doing the dishes, staying away from the kids so she can get some peace and quiet. And I'm up here streaming, so that might have something to do with it, or just, just how the internet is, man. Too many people down the road taking my internet. Stop it. All right, let me scroll down here. Man, we almost went through an hour already. I was going to make this one short, but it was an interesting topic because of these products, man. I love this stuff. And I can't wait for the Street Series to come here on Monday. And I got a few other goodies I want to show you guys. And something there's a few things I'm going to add to the Cornet Kicker Box, man. That thing is not add, but I'm just going to connect with it because that's the point of it. And to have something I can test with and add things and just try different stuff, man. It's going to be awesome. Love you so much for that, Cornet. I can't thank you enough. I really can't. See, I know when I've been streaming too long, my ears start hurting, because I got big old ears. If you ever see me in Scott's or Casey's build, yeah, you'll know my ears are easily slappable. What's going on, Dave? Thanks for tuning in, man. I hope you're doing good, buddy. I really do. I know you guys are having an after stream after my stream on the 14 Discord. I'm going to try to jump in when I can, like I did last night on my way home from work. But I gotta make a short for Tuesday, so I'm ahead of schedule. And get on with that. Good vibes, yes. Deviant for life. You talk about 14.4. Deviant comes crawling out of the woodwork. Weekly public service announcement. Andy's Discord starts at $1 a month. You mean Patreon? We got a free Discord. I mean, I could charge. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. They take PayPal and live streams 8 times a month. Insane. Join now. Nobody involves the chat like Andy. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bud. And yeah, check out the Patreon. It is awesome. And Bubba for shouting that out too, man. You guys are awesome. I just appreciate what you guys do. Hanging out, having a good time. I couldn't thank you guys enough. And there's a $20 super chat just lurking. Oh, it just popped up. That's why. Dave's lurking. He's getting ready for that caboose. He's like, I've been out for a little while, but I am back. I am back. Hope you're doing good, man. Just going with the good old, don't forget to hit the like. Hey, you know what, OG, for that, you were one of the very first. I think Vega was the first to super chat, but I think you were second, and you were just killing it right in the beginning. I'm like, who is this David Koslick guy? This guy's killing it. Thank you so much, man. Always telling people to smash the thumbs button. Come on, man. This camera is just rated #1 on Amazon, right? Appreciate you so much, David, and I hope you are doing good, man. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really do. For all that you do. All that you do. I hope you're doing good. This content is worth more than $1. Yes. Yes, but it is $1 at the very minimum. Donate as you please. What's the channel? My Patreon is just go to www.patreon. Oh, you know what? The freaking... This didn't even roll. You guys didn't even tell me. You guys didn't even tell me. I had to restart everything on the internet, and it restarted StreamYard. I forgot to throw up the banner. It's usually on the bottom there, and you'll see your name. www.patreon.com/livingloud. No apostrophe, just living loud, and you'll see me on there, man. Man, usually, whoa! Oh, I thought I thought I pulled down the comment. That makes sense. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you, man. Okay, let me scroll. Anakin. Rumor has it Andy's Discord is $1 a month. Just read that somewhere. Well, I do have a Patreon-only sub-channel in the Discord. So if you're a Patreon, you're paying that $1. You know, I guess there is the Discord that you got to pay for as a sub-channel. But it's cool because Patreon is great, so you guys get early release videos. Sorry I didn't release that earlier one. It was just kind of last-minute kind of video. And shorts, shorts are okay. It's the bigger videos that you guys get early content, and a few things that I'm doing that I'm just going to tell you guys, just because I think you guys are special. And the Patreon on the Discord is cool because then there's more interactiveness between us, and usually you only see the Patreon stuff there. And obviously the Discord is, you know, you'll see some behind the stuff that's free. But the Patreon has its benefits, plus you're just supporting. That's how I see it, man. Yeah, you get the perks of, you know, whatever, but I'm already reaching out to you guys, having one-on-ones with you between the StreamYards, the Discord, and everything. So if you guys can support, that's awesome. If not, no biggie, man. That's what I do. I appreciate all you guys. And my internet keeps going in and out. I see it every time, man. That is annoying. I'm going to rewatch this and be like, oh, cringe. Matt G, we cannot ban Baba. There is not a price on that. There is not a price on it. I'm sorry. I know everybody's been having differences in the Discords, and even on Facebook, man, I be seeing some stuff, and I'm just sitting back like I am not getting involved, and I'm glad I'm the person that doesn't get involved anymore, because I used to just dive right into that stuff. Oh, let me tell you, man. The only stuff I really dove deep into was the people that were hating on Kicker, and I'm like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Why? Why? You know? And, you know, just normal stuff. You grow up a little bit. You still read it, though. Trust me, it's interesting. Everyone still watches the Kardashians and, you know, Kanye West and all that, and even though they... Whatever the deal is with that, you still watch it. Alright guys, well shoot man, I love you guys, it's been awesome. I'm going to get ready for the Tuesday show and the short and do everything like that, and got a lot going on this weekend, a lot more deliveries coming. You might see a video Monday, or I might just make you wait till Tuesday with the Kicking It With Andy show when all the other kicker stuff comes here. But otherwise, I will see you guys Tuesday. And as always, stay living loud. I'll see you on the next one. about that, Garrett. 14.4 Discord gets a little hairy sometimes, but there's a benefit to both. I see a reason for both of them, and that's life, man. Everyone wants to sit at their own table at the high school. And Cornut, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much with a $15 super chat. See you all in Discord. I will see everyone in the Discord. And Baba's always coming in with the caboose last minute. 25's like, I'll just try typing it. Maybe that'll work. Thank you so much, Baba. Love, peace, and happiness. Good, natural, civil adults should be able to work out any differences. Communication is key, and absolutely, man. Thank you guys so much. And appreciate you guys. Matt G, everybody, troops, David, love you guys. I'll see you in a little bit. Be easy, guys.